We are going to read the Seashore book by Charlotte Zolotow. And the paintings are by Wendell Miner. Look at these paintings. I mean, it looks like a photograph, doesn't it? Beautiful. He has the most beautiful paintings. As I read this book, I want you to give me a thumbs up if you hear me say a simile. And we know that a simile is an example of figurative language that compares two things using the words like or as. Damaris, do you have a question before we begin? What is the seashore like? A little boy asked his mother. He lived in the mountains and had never seen the sea. His mother smiled. Let's pretend, she said. It is early morning at the seashore and it's hard to tell where the sea stops and the sky begins. They are the same smoky gray until the mist shifts from gray to dark white, from dark white to pale purple, from pale purple to hazy blue. Then suddenly the sun breaks through. It warms the cool sand. It turns the sea green and the beach is golden gray. You run down to the water's edge, one small dark spot against the brightness of the sand and sea. Have we heard an example yet? Not yet. You bend over and pick up a stone, washed smooth by the sea. You find tiny brown snail shells and oyster shells, crusty gray outside and smooth, pearly pink inside. You pick up a clamshell half open and inside a live clam snaps the shell closed. In my hand, the little boy asks. In your hand, the mother says. Yes, sir.
What did he ask?
He had a clam shell,
He said, what do I
and it's half open, and inside a live clam snaps the shell closed. Then you reach down again and pick up a wet white gull feather from the gulls flying overhead. We sit at the edge of the water and build a castle of wet sand until the waves wash up and suck it back to sea. The cold water makes your skin feel like peppermint and you are tired. What was it, Zamaris?
It is make your skin feel like peppermint.
So you're comparing skin to peppermint. You lie down in the hot noonday sun now, and it feels as warm as a big soft cat covering you, taking away the chill of the waves. The swish-washing sound of them lulls you to sleep. What was that example, Isabella?
A soft cat.
You lie down in the hot noonday sun and it feels as warm as a big soft cat covering you. The sun is compared to a cat. Do you ever feel that way? You feel like it's very warm? I watch while you sleep and you don't see two little gray sandpipers run past you. But when you wake up, you do see their claw prints like pencil lines in the sand.
The bird's claws compared to a pencil.
Very good. You rub your eyes and it seems like there's nothing in the world except the sound of the wind and the rising and falling song of the waves. You stand and look out at the ocean. Far, far out, so far it seems a toy. A little white sailboat skims over the water and disappears. The tide is going out. I'm hungry, you say. I am too, so we wade over to a big rock covered with seaweed and moss. We sit there together and eat our sandwiches and drink lemonade from our thermos and watch the small brown sand crabs squaggling at our toes. I That may be squaggling at her toes. An airplane flies low in the sky. Its shadow on the sand is like a gigantic bird. What would it be, M&J?
Shadow and gigantic bird.
Very good. And you leap off the rock and chase after it until it is gone. I watch you throw your head back and twirl yourself around and around until you're too dizzy to stand and you fall down on the sand. The wind is getting cooler. Long purple streaks of clouds are forming in the sky. We take each other's hands and walk down the beach toward home. The fishing pier we pass is white as a snowfall, with hundreds of crying seagulls waiting for the fishing boats to come in when the sun sets. What would it be, Michaela? The fishing pier we passed is white as a snowfall. The fishing pier is compared to a snowfall. The evening air is so still that the life's buoy, ding, ding, dong, sounds right next to us, close and clear and loud. We climb to the top of the dune, away from the ocean, but we stop and look down across the seagrass to the sea. The setting sun is a huge orange ball. And that's actually not one. That's another example of a different type of figurative language. You are so tired when we get home that you can hardly stay awake through your hot bath and dinner. We barely have time to kiss goodnight before you fall asleep. Outside, the lighthouse is flashing. Golden gleam on, golden gleam off. But you don't see it. You are sleeping so deeply. You don't hear the tide rising. You don't see the small crescent moon outside your window. The ocean is bursting in waves along the shore, covering the rock where we sat and ate our lunch, and carrying up seaweed and shells to the sand. The little boy leaned against his mother and smiled. I like the seashore a lot, he said, and now I can always close my eyes and be there, the way I was just now with you. The end. And so in the Seashore book, we discovered examples of what, class? Similes. You're comparing, it's a figure of speech, figurative language, and you're comparing two things with like or as. Thank you.